when did Black Americans begin the Juneteenth movement as a way to commemorate their history and their continued struggle and a celebration in terms of nationally within the United States? And then after you tell us that, maybe you can tell us when did it start in Toledo?
Yeah, okay. Very good question. So Juneteenth initially started the next year, 1866, in Galveston, Texas, where Black folks were celebrating a year of finding out from their freedom, and it did continue after that. However, many of the oppressive Reconstruction laws in the South prevented, right? There was still a great danger of Black folks gathering in public, right? And still remains to be this day, you know. But so it was over the years, it didn't become as public. I think there was a bit of a resurgence of that during the 60s. I believe there was a part of the Poor People's Campaign that occurred on Juneteenth, and that kind of brought light to it again. And then, as far as locally, we initially had a day that we called Black Lives Matter Day, and that first one occurred, I believe it was April 18th or April 19th, 2015, and on that particular day, it marked the 10-year anniversary of there were a group of Nazis that were coming to town. The Nazis were celebrating a 10-year anniversary from the riots that had happened 10 years prior in 2005 in Toledo, where over 75 people of color got arrested that day because they decided to march through a neighborhood on the north side of Toledo. And to put it frankly, the north siders of Toledo were not having it, regardless of who tried to protect those Nazis, be it law enforcement or whatever. They just were not going to let that happen in their neighborhood. But as a result of that, many people caught felonies, right? Many people had damage done to their life that it's very hard to come back from. So fast forward 10 years, the Nazis, who, you know, I must admit, and a lot of people don't realize, whose headquarters is less than an hour away in Detroit, you know, they looked at that as a success, as putting more black and brown bodies behind bars, you know, over 70 black and brown bodies behind bars, in cages, in chains, 10 years prior. So they wanted to do the same thing again. So we decided that we didn't want that to happen, right? And we wanted to highlight a lot of the things that we wanted to show that our Black lives did matter that day. And we didn't feel the best way to do that was directly giving them the attention that they wanted. We wanted to highlight the beautifulness of our community and the beauty in the Black experience in America. And that's what we did. So we at that date, we called it Black Lives Matter Day. And it was a success. I mean, we diverted a lot of people from going to that direct protest and instead celebrating and embracing self-love, which was, I think, a great success. Throughout the following years, those Nazis haven't come back. So we didn't have to have it in April, which in Toledo can include some inclement weather. It can still snow in April up here. So it only made sense to combine that with what should be a holiday anyway, and which should be something that we should always celebrate, which is Juneteenth. And so we just combined those on the same day. And even last year, although it's not a nationally recognized holiday, the folks in One Government Center did recognize Juneteenth as a holiday, which is something that we are proud of, and just shows the progress that we are making.
Great. So tell us, so this is about the fourth year, I believe, that this is being celebrated. Tell us exactly what will be going on that day at the Frederick Douglass Center.
It will be a beautiful Black experience. Is the best way I can describe it. But there will be food from vendors. There will be, there might be a little dancing. You know what I mean? There will be some knowledge passed, right? You may learn about how to fix your credit, right? A lot of us are in economic bondage. So, there will be knowledge spread around but most of all, I think of everything, of anything, is there will be a bonding of us together in the spirit and the atmosphere of love, right? The spirit of networking, a spirit of just embracing one another, which I think is something that we don't do enough, celebrating each other, lifting each other up.
Well, I remember the first year that you talked about earlier. I was there, and I remember it was a beautiful experience. I was there early on in the morning, in the beginning of it, and then I stayed throughout the whole thing. And I remember the crowd growing from 100 to eventually 1,000 people that were all outside, all kind of in harmony together. There was music, there was dancing, there was cultural food of African Americans, there were speakers imparting knowledge, there were organizations that were set up that were sharing information and so forth. And so I'm from what I hear you saying, we can expect more of the same?
Yes, we can expect more of that. We can expect a beautiful Black time. Join the Community Solidarity Response Network as we celebrate Black Lives Matter Day, Juneteenth. We not free till we all free.